Department of Community Services, we have entered into a social compact to ensure that the citizens are safe. This compact calls upon us to ensure that the South African Police Service creates a safe, secure, and conducive environment in which all the citizens of the province are and feel safe. We are mindful of the enormous responsibility and challenges that confront our policy every day, such as the high rates of unemployment, poverty, and inequality, which are the root causes of crime, in particular serious and violent crime in our communities. The National Development Plan Vision 2030 directs us to ensure that statistics of the violent crimes, in particular gender-based violence, the GVB, are halved in the next decade. I am therefore pleased and optimistic that while we have not yet attained our objectives and are working hard to achieving them, we are on the right track. We have a dedicated team of men and women in blue who are toiling to ensure safety of the citizens. We are hopeful that crime and criminality will be defeated and the elderly, women and children of our province will be able to walk free in our towns and villages without fear. But we will not achieve this without support of these citizens. We are appealing to the people to report crime and not hide criminals. The people who commit heinous crimes are our children, our friends, our cousins, and generally people known to us. We cannot turn around and say police are doing anything when we are doing nothing, when we hide criminality. As I used to say, police cannot be everywhere. Community must assist them. As part of the plans to intensify the fight against crime, we will focus on revitalizing the policing forums. As tests that we are releasing will indicate. Some of our police stations appear in the top 30 of stations in the country that record high incidence of gender-based violence. Let me now call upon the Provincial Commissioner, Lieutenant General Sello, to present the crime statistics for the period under review. In police, we talk less and we arrest. Over to you, General.
Thank you, MEC, members of the media, colleagues. I'm briefly going to hand over to Brigadier Nsavele, the provincial head, to ensure that the presentation is continued. Can you just shift that side? She's going to do the presentation. Probably you would like to put the mics at that side because that's the person who's going to present.
Thank you and good morning to the MEC, Provincial Commissioner, all the Deputy Provincial Commissioners, the District Commissioner of Nagamudiro Molema, all the media houses present, ladies and gentlemen. As the MEC has already indicated, the statistics that is going to be presented today is for the first quarter of the current financial year, that is from April to June 2022. What I can mention at the moment is that, as you may know, during the past 2 years, we were policing during the period of COVID-19. Now, the current year situation has changed. We are policing in what we may call as the normal policing climate. No restrictions, everything is back to what we may consider as normal. Now, as I've indicated, we have here with us the crime statistics for the first quarter. As some of you may know, these are the crime categories that we have. We have 21 serious crimes, and they are categorized as indicated on the slide. the main focus will be on the 17 community reported crimes that are listed there according to the categories, that is contact crimes, contact related, the property related crimes, and the other serious crimes. Now the current slide is mainly to indicate to us how the province has performed during the period as indicated. It wasn't an easy time. With regards to the 17 community reported crimes, the province had an increase of 7% overall. However, amongst the districts that we are having, which are 4, it was only Dr. Kenneth Kaunda district that managed a decrease. They had 237 less cases compared to what they had last year. But the other districts, unfortunately, the situation was not the same as in Dr. KK. As we may know, the bulk of the crime in the province is reported in Bojanala Platinum District. Now, when the district did not perform well or did not manage to reduce crime, then in most cases, the entire province is affected. Going forward, in the current slide, we have listed the top 20 contributing stations in the province with regards to the 17 reported crimes. As you can see on the list, we have Rustenburg leading all the stations in the province, and it had a total increase of 1.1%. Just after Rustenburg, we have Tlhabane, and we have Klerksdorp, Potchefstroom, and Ikageng. Those are the ones that we can term as the top 5 in the province. On the list, there are stations that have managed to reduce the crime. Unfortunately, amongst the 20, it's only 8. However, that is quite commendable looking at the fact that that period was quite challenging because we were competing with last year, which had a lot of restrictions. So that is the list, and on the 20th position there we are having Vryburg. I must mention that in the 20 stations that are listed there, most of them are from Bojanala district. That is Bojanala Sub-District 1 and Sub-District 2. That is the Rustenburg and the Bretts areas. Okay. Now, in this slide, we just wanted to indicate the extent to which the population is affected by the crime, and in particular, contact crimes. We looked into it based on the population figures that were provided by Statistics SA. As you may know, in Northwest, we have a population of 4.1 million. So we were, our aim was to show how much of the population was affected by crime. That is 100,000 per capita. With regards to the murders, 6 people in 100,000 were affected by murders or died during that period. The rape cases, 17 people out of 100,000. So that is how it goes. And in this instance, we were focusing only on contact crimes, that is murders, rapes, attempted murders, assaults, and common robbery. Now, the 5-year trend, we had a historical overview of contact crimes. And as you can see, pre-COVID, the crime was high. We had 8,522 cases reported, that is in 2018. And during COVID 2020, as you can see, we had a dip there where we had 4,848 contact crime cases reported. Then after COVID, things changed. As you can see, at the moment, we were standing at 8,398 cases at the end of the first quarter of the current financial year. I will skip the next slide because it just shows how each of the contact crimes have contributed to the total of the contact crimes that were reported in the province. The district overview with regards to contact crimes, out of the 4 districts, it was only Bojanala Platinum District that did not manage to reduce contact crimes. As you can see on the slide, Dr. KK, Dr. RSM, and Ngaka Modiri Malema managed a reduction. Unfortunately, those 3 districts did not manage to assist the total of the province in terms of reductions. The next slide, we just wanted to show the causative factors of the contact crimes. We are talking a lot about contact crimes because, as you may know, crimes that are affecting women and children mostly fall under this category. Hence, it is of a concern to us when this crime category increases. So with regards to the causative factors, in most of the cases, you'd find that arguments and misunderstanding contribute to a lot of cases that were reported. As you can see, with regards to assault GBH cases, 970 cases came out of those. Furthermore, we had incidents where people were trying to intervene in fights, and about 50 cases of those, of such incidents resulted in assault GBH cases. There are a lot of variety of causative factors, but the ones that are flighted here are the ones that have mostly been reported. And furthermore, with regards to the places of occurrence, as I've previously said, in most cases when crime has occurred, the first question that people would ask is, where were the police? But with regards to contact crimes, it's a bit different because most of the incidents occur within our households. And as we may know, the police do not police inside our households. As the MEC previously said, earlier said, police cannot be everywhere, and that includes our houses. So as you can see, a lot of murders, attempted murders, and assault GBH cases occurred within our households, either resident of the victim or the perpetrator. And in other cases, liquor outlets. Quite often it is said that liquor does contribute to crime, and in some cases, it sounds like it's a far-fetched story, but it does. As we can see, the cases that have been reported from liquor outlets, assault GBH, we had 342 cases that were reported from there. The murders, 24, attempted murders, 21. Now, with regards to assault GBH, these are not all the cases. We had a sample of 70% of the cases analyzed. So there could be more with regards to the cases where incidents occurred at liquor outlets or at residences of the perpetrators or victims. But with regards to the murders and attempted murders, all the cases that were reported were analyzed. Now, earlier on I spoke about crimes against women and children. The current slide indicates how much women and children were affected by crime, in particular murder, attempted murder, and assault GBH. As you can see, from April to June 2022, we had 5 more cases where women were murdered, 6 more cases where there was attempted murder to women, and in terms of assault GBH, we had a reduction of 78 cases, which gave us 9.5% decrease. Children were not spared with regards to crime. Murders, we had 11 cases of murders that affected children, and that is 17 years downwards. Attempted murder, we had just a reduction of 3 cases, and assault GBH, a reduction of 29 cases, which gave us 19.2%. Now, as much as we had some reductions in some of the crimes, it is still a big concern to us as the SAPS, and it should be a concern to the community as well. This slide is just to show the cases where liquor and drugs contributed to crime. Assault GBH cases, we had 422 of those. Rape, 5, attempted murder, 17. The same applies to murder cases. So it was just to show the extent. And this slide is about the places of occurrence with regards to rape in particular. 334 cases occurred within residence of victims or perpetrators. And other than that, it was in public places like streets, open fields, parks, and all the other public places that you can think of. So those were the two main places where these incidents occurred. And again, as I've earlier said, it was a bit difficult, or it is a bit difficult for the police to cap this because, as I said, it occurs within our households. The relationships between victims and perpetrators. It is not in all cases where the perpetrators are strangers. As you can see on the list, we have family members, we have friends, teachers, neighbors, and in about 55 cases it was strangers, but the rest of the cases, it was people that were known to the victims. So this is what we are experiencing, and the causal factors as well, it's matters that are quite known to us as well. Domestic violence related cases. The slide is just to show how the province fared in comparison with other provinces. We had cases that are domestic violence related, and those are the crimes under which these cases emanated from. So assaults mainly contributed, with assault GBH contributing 313 cases, assault common 451 cases. Further than that, we had malicious damage to property, where we had 225 cases that are domestic violence related. Hence, I earlier said this should be a concern to us as SAPS and the community. These are the top 10 stations with regards to contact crimes. These stations are mainly in Bujanala region, both 1 and 2, and we have some stations in Dr. KK as well. And the trio crimes, that is hijackings, house robberies, and business robberies. We had an increase on hijackings, car hijackings to be specific, 11%, and truck hijackings, they went up 267%, from 6 of 2021 to 22 of 2022, which gave us 267%. And a slight increase on house robberies and business robberies. I'm skipping some of the crimes because in the interest of time, we need to look at the main ones that are affecting our communities. With regards to robbery aggravating, all the subcategories thereof, we are having top 10 contributing stations. As you can see, the hijackings are mainly in Bujanala region, as I've said, and the affected stations is Rustenburg, Butukon, Klerksdorp, Mooinooi. Those are our top 5, and the list goes on. As I've indicated, most of these stations are in Bujanala, especially Bujanala 1 sub-district. The truck hijackings, we're having Breads as our main problem, and after Breads we have Potchefstroom and Mutuku. Now, the places or our hotspots with regards to truck hijackings are the N12, the N4, and the N14. House robberies, it's Lehari mainly that is affected. And with regards to robberies at non-residential premises, these are the places, or this is the crime that we normally term as robbery at business premises. Now, the stations that are highly affected here are Rustenburg, Klerksdorp, Brez, Mooinooi, and Tlhabane. Those are the top 5. We still on the list have Boituko, Letlhabile, Mokgwase, Phokeng, and Jouberton. What is of a concern with regards to robberies at non-residential premises is that it's not only businesses that are affected. We have places like churches and schools that are robbed. So it's quite a concern to have places like churches being robbed. And this is the 5-year trend with regards to contact-related crimes. In this instance, we are looking at the arson cases and malicious damage to property. The pattern that this crime grouping followed is just the same as the contact crime. As we can see, during 2020-2021, the cases were quite low compared to the current financial year. And this is how the districts fared. Dr. RSM and Ngaka Mudiri Molema had an increase in this crime grouping. Okay, the property-related crimes. These are your stock theft, theft out of motor vehicles, theft of motor vehicles, the burglaries, both at residential and business premises. Now, this is how the province has performed during the past 5 years. And we're having 6,390 cases that were reported from April to June. And when you look at the cases that were reported during the previous years, we are having lower cases compared to 2018 and 2019. However, 2020 and 2021, as earlier indicated, we had generally a reduction in crime. So, as I earlier said, the current policing climate is the one that we can term as normal, hence we are seeing an increase. All in all, the property-related crimes, there was an increase of 1%. Amongst those, the challenge was mainly on burglaries, both at residential and non-residential. We had an increase at burglary at residential premises and at non-residential premises, 1% and 7% respectively. Stock theft, there was an increase of 10%. And the districts, how they fared during that period, it is only Dr. Kenneth Kaunda that managed to reduce property-related crimes, excuse me. Earlier on, when I spoke about robberies at non-residential premises, I indicated that schools and churches are not spared from that crime. Now, with regards to the burglaries as well, the current slide shows the situation. And as you may see, educational premises, we had 56 of those that were broken into. And you know that it is laptops, groceries, or any other thing that may be of importance to those burglars that have been taken. Furthermore, we have churches, 23 of those were broken into, and government buildings, we had 11 of those, bottle stores, 30, and a variety of other places that were broken into. And unfortunately, SAPS premises also were broken into, but it was only 3 cases that were reported. Stock theft. This is one of the crimes that is on everybody's tongue in the province. The current slide is aimed at showing us how the province has fared in comparison with the other provinces in the country. As you can see, it is Northwest, Limpopo, and Gauteng only that did not manage to reduce, which calls for much more intense interventions with regards to stock theft in particular. We had a 10% increase of stock theft cases during that period. And with regards to how the districts performed on stock theft, it is only Dr. KK that managed a reduction during that period, and the rest of the districts, unfortunately, had their cases more than what they had last year. It was mainly cattle, goats, and sheep that were stolen during that period. And the property-related crimes, in previous years, we used to have the house breakings mainly in towns, in our affluent suburbs. But now, the pattern has changed. The villages are now topping the list in terms of the places where these burglaries are occurring. So unfortunately, even now in the villages, people need to up their security measures because things have now changed. The crimes that are detected as a result of police actions, here we're talking about the drunken drivings, the arrest on drugs, and the other crimes. With this crime grouping, the province has performed well, and the same applies to all the other provinces in the country, so we were not left behind in this regard. This is how the districts performed. It was only Dr. RSM that did not manage to have an increase in this crime category because, as we may know, it is requested of us to have more cases or more arrests compared to the previous period. So all the other districts managed to arrest more people, and as I've indicated, that is with regards to drugs, firearms, and the crimes that are depending on police action with regards to issues of sexual offenses. Other serious crimes, we're having general theft, commercial crime, and shoplifting. With regards to this crime category, we had 22,557 cases reported. And when we look at the previous years, 2020 and 2021, there were less cases compared to what we are having currently. We had an increase on all of those. Theft, general, 16% increase. The fraud cases, 87% increase, and shoplifting, 3% increase. And the districts, it was only Dr. RSM that managed a reduction. And these are the top 10 stations with regards to all those crimes that I've mentioned. The core business diversion, this is where we're talking about incidents of unrest in the province. In Northwest, we had 82 of those during the period under review, and 82 of the unrests and the peaceful incidents were 114. And we are mentioning this because, as we normally say, these situations of unrest divert or force us as SAPS to divert the available resources that are in any case not always adequate. We divert them to those places that are affected, and unfortunately other places then become inadequately policed. So this is worth mentioning because in many cases people or the community out there do not understand or do not know the impact that these unrests are having on policing endeavors. And there are top stations in the province that are appearing on the top 30 national list with regards to some of the crimes. And the current slide is just to show how the stations in the province have performed during the past quarter, that is April to June, in comparison with the other stations in the country. As we can see, with regards to sexual offenses, we are having huge challenges at Witikong. Sexual offenses in general, Witikong SAPS or policing precinct was in position 29 in the country, and this is out of 1,150 stations in the country. And the rape cases, Witikong was in position 20. The list goes on like that, and I think we need to take note of those that I have mentioned. Furthermore, what is of a concern to us, and I've said previously that stock theft is one of those crimes that is on everybody's lips in the province. With regards to that, Taung came on the 8th position in the country. Mabatu 14, Madikwe 18, and Venterstop 23. We are hoping that at the end of the second quarter, we will have less stations under the top 30 in the country with regards to stock theft. Furthermore, We're having Rustenburg on position 20, theft of motor vehicles, and position 16, theft out of motor vehicles. Those are the areas that I needed to highlight with regards to the top 30 stations in the country. MEC and General, that marks the end of my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, MEC. Ladies and gentlemen, we are now going to take questions. Just introduce yourself and then pose a question. Let us try as much as possible to stick to the business of the day. If you want to pose a question, you can indicate through raising of a hand so that we can recognize you. So can I have those hands? Oh, you are fine, please. You don't want to ask any question. Okay, Tabang. Is Tabang only for now? Okay, Obageng. Is Tabang and Obageng? Okay. Maybe I should hand back to the MEC and Torah so that they can respond to the questions. That is immediately after questions have been asked. And then, can we go to Taban then from the Obageng in that order?
Can I proceed?
Yes.
Oh, thank you very much. My name is Salam Murugab from National Police Agency, UNF. I wanted to find out about the working relationship between the SAP as an anti-crime organization, including police forums, community police forums. They always accuse police of arresting them instead of the perpetrators. And then we have cases of mob justice, communities taking the law into their hands. It seems as if the communities have lost the hope in the police, whereby now they're taking the law into their own hands. How is the police going to handle that? And then we have police officials claiming that they don't have resources. They don't have resources such as the powder that they use when they get to crime scenes for fingerprints. So how is the police going to be able to do their work if they don't have the important resources that they need in terms of making investigations? Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
My name is Ubakim Maje from Town News. And my question goes to the SAPS. It seems Rustenburg is leading the pack. So I want to understand what is the root cause of that. Whether it's because it is within the boundary in Gauteng or in other provinces. And then the second question is the role of alcohol in most reported cases. Does alcohol has any role to play in that crimes that are committed? And if, what are the strategic measures in place for the SAPS to ensure that they kept them by including other stakeholders, meaning engaging with tavern owners and others? Thank you for now. And also last question is that many communities, especially within Gaou, they're complaining about, actually they're calling for the SAPS to extend or to increase police stations because the population has grown and then it seems more police stations are needed. Thank you.
We will take one more question before we go to MEC.
Good morning. My name is Sello from SABC News. So my first question is, sorry, I hear that the only district that managed to decrease crime is Dr. KK. So for you as the police, what do you make of that? Are you perhaps in the view that you are winning when it comes to dealing with crime and tackling crime, or is it still a bit of a challenge? Because out of all the districts, you only have one that has decreased these cases. And then also, not so long ago, pardon me, sorry, not so long ago, I did a story, Sako, well, there's a police station, a satellite police station that was closed in the area, so somewhere in Zirast. My apologies, I missed it. In Dunogana, thanks, Brigadier. In Dunogana. So we understand that that police satellite or satellite police station was closed because there were no resources and there wasn't enough manpower to run that particular satellite police station. But for the community, it was important because now they have to travel to other nearby areas that for them it's costly and it really is far. So for the police, what is going to be done about issues like that where there's shortage of manpower and resources which leads to closing police stations or satellite police stations instead of at least bringing manpower and running those for the safety of the communities? Thank you.
Thank you, Silwan. Any other question, colleagues? Okay, I'm now going to hand over to the microphones. Okay. Okay, we attend to. I'm going to hand over now to the MEC and the Provincial Commissioner so that they can respond to the questions.
No, thank you very much. Most of the questions are directly to the police. I will just do the hint, the preamble, and thereafter and to the Provincial Commissioner. On mob justice, I think here we are talking about community members. We have a plan with civilian and secretariat to have crime in bureaus around the province where we are going to educate, making an awareness to the people of Northwest to understand the role of community in assisting police. That's exactly that. Police can try their best. If community members are not trained, educated, there is no awareness, they are not briefed about what is right and what is wrong. We are going to try our best, but we are not going to make it. For argument's sake, there is no altar in a village. You know? Somebody told them that somebody closed the tap and they run and beat that person. So they are not educated. So they need to be educated, but we'll try our best as civilian secretariat under the new chief director. Now, commissioner in the management of subs, they make a same presentation to executive, where all MECs was present. The issue of Rustenburg was raised. We are told that Rustenburg is a fast-growing city in Africa. And everything's happening there. If you want to get a job, you must go to Rustenburg. If you want to get a stand next to the mine, you must go to Rustenburg. Now, I agree with the HOD that Rustenburg is a hillborough of Hillborough in Northwest, Rustenburg. And Rustenburg is college of Western Cape in Northwest. So you don't have to go to Khayelitsha or Hillborough, just go to Rustenburg. You will see what is happening. Now, not only Rustenburg, but I think Commissioner and the team will focus, will give Rustenburg time. Now resources, no? When you talk about resources, you mean manpower, yeah? Physical personnel, and you mean vehicles, that is resources. It's well known in South Africa that police are not enough. The minister is trying his best. Last time or now, the men and women are training so that we can add our police in police stations. Even vehicles or cars are not enough in police stations. But SAPS is national. Here we are coordinating as MECs. Everything that I need in the province, I write a letter to the minister or I brief the minister. So issue of resources in general, the minister and the national commissioner and the national commissioner, they are aware. They are doing something for them. But it's something that you can't address it tomorrow. Because not only Northwest, or not only Zirast, Dinugana, satellite closed. There are many police stations, many areas in the province where people are traveling more than 10 kilometers to a police station. You go to Witugo, Rustenburg, more than 3 police stations around Rustenburg, they need satellite. Something that we are working on, the commission and the team, they are on top of it. So I will hand over to the commission and the team to answer most questions which are direct to SAPS.
The mic's okay, or can I continue? Thank you, MEC. I think firstly, before I respond to questions, it's worth noting maybe to inform the House about the outcome of the presidential as well as the ministerial imbizo that took place some time back around March, April in Mafikeng. I think there were complaints from the community with regard to drug abuse within Mafikeng Mabatu area. The police launched a project which bore fruits. In fact, ultimately 22 suspects were arrested. 5 of these suspects were Nigerians and 17 South Africans. 5 vehicles were confiscated. We are in the process of following up additional suspects insofar as this operation is concerned. This was as a result of the outcry and a response by the president as well as the minister in the province and in the district. Coming to questions, Thabang, you asked about the working relationship between the police and anti-crime units. I would like to indicate that we have a good relation to some extent. The CPFs are working very close with the police, members of the community, as well as other stakeholders are partners with the police in ensuring that we ensure a safe and secure environment in the province. CPFs are operational. We've got non-government organizations that are also working with us to ensure that we stabilize the province and bring safety. The issue of the mob justice, I think this year we only had one issue in and around Macau. However, through engagement, also inclusive with the traditional leadership, we've seen a reduction in mob justices in the province. The next question, the one of let me continue with Thabang about the resources. Continuously, there will be issues related to resources, but under the circumstances, we will always move the resources where there are hotspots, where there are priorities. At no stage will we have all the resources that we need in the current situation. However, if there's an issue, we've got adequate resources to respond to those issues that might be raised. Thabang, you raised an issue that Rustenburg is leading, and why? Obakeng, yes. I think the MEC also indicated that a lot of people are migrating towards Rustenburg because of the mines in the main. So as a result, there's a lot of criminality in and around Rustenburg. A lot of proliferation of drugs, a lot of theft out of motor vehicles, armed robberies. However, the response of the police, we've got dedicated teams in different spheres, which some I won't mention here,
that are actually trusting back to ensure that we ensure that the people in and around Rustenburg are safe and the crime there is decreased. You indicated that there are more police that are being needed. Yes, it's a fact, which is also part of a resource. When you look at what the President and the Minister said the beginning of last year and also the beginning of this year, they talked about the project 10,000. Is the number of police recruits that are in the colleges as we speak. They'll be coming out from the college around the 15th of December to try and address the shortages within the file and rank of the police. Silwani, you asked whether we are winning as the police in the reduction of crime. To some extent, I would say yes. However, as it has been presented, there are certain crimes that are difficult to police. I think Brigadier Ntshabele, when she explained, she talked about crimes like rape, crimes like murder, where in most instances it's people that are closely related to each other, which is a challenge in terms of policing. However, the SAPS is winning in certain quarters. When you look at crimes dependent on police action, you will see that all is green, which is indicative of the actions that are being undertaken by the police to ensure that we bring the levels of crime down. Lastly, Sulwani, you asked about the closure of satellite police stations. I think the House is aware of the attacks on police of now late, even police stations. In satellite police stations, we've got limited number of police officials that we are placing there. Because on the same breath, we are talking again of shortage of police, hence the 10,000 project. I must highlight the fact that we had a satellite police station in Freedom Park, in Makgokgong, in Taung, and as well as in Majakane. All these three satellite police stations were banned by the community. There was a time when we had to appear in National Parliament Portfolio Committee to explain why there can't be a satellite police station in Makgokgong, the very satellite police station that was banned by the community. But now, because of scarcity of resources, we are coming together with the community. We are coming together with mobile satellite, which is currently effectively implemented in and around Mokwase. We want to extend that, as the MEC indicated, where we will have a satellite moving from one village to the other, because the people who suffer the most are people in villages to come to towns, to police stations, and so on. So this mobile police station will go from one village to the other so that the necessary and main issues like your certification and so on and so forth, your affidavits for SASA, they will be taken by the police as the vehicle rotates insofar as the villages are concerned. We want to extend this, but as we know that because of resources, we will be limited to some extent. But currently, we are employing this in and around Mokwase. Thank you.
Thank you, MEC. Basically, ladies and gentlemen, this brings us to the end of this media briefing. Just a follow-up. Okay. Is there any other follow-up? Okay. Any other question? Only these two colleagues. Okay.
Thank you. The commission said they're dealing with issues regarding where we have seen community members marching into police station and attacking police. But there is another question where we have gang-related crimes. Let's say in Jovedina we have Al-Qaeda. And then this gang, it seems they execute criminal activities with impunity because sometimes they will enter into police stations and then they do as what they do as they please. And then there is no punishment for that. Now they have entered into the municipality in Makosana where they demand tenders. And according to information is that some politicians are working with these gang members. So how are the police going to ensure that they clamp down this? Thank you.
I wanted to check on the issue of police ability to prevent serious crimes before it happens. Maybe just in addition to Sello, in terms of whether the police is winning the fight against crime in the province. And also ask that how does the police work together with the crime intelligence unit in the province to identify and prevent crime before it happens?
Thank you. We cover colleagues. Okay, thanks. Handing over back to the MEC.
Okay. Now I'll always give preambles. Preambles is the introduction of answers. Gangster or gangsterism in Matosana. We went there several times. We were there. We not saw them in TV or Facebook. We are there. And even we know what they are talking about. And we are aware about their dead funeral, that big funeral of their commander-in-chief, if one may say. Now these gangsters are living in village internships and they're living with us or with you. Now, you can feel, you can't touch. Police will arrest if you open cases. Yeah. So that the case must be tight. Now again, that crime in Bizo, educating our people, the people of this province, making them aware what is their role. A gang or gangism demonstrating on the street. That means they've been there more than 3 months planning in houses with us. My neighbor, your neighbor, the boy there is part of the gangster. You don't report. You wait something to happen on the street, then you blame police. It's unfortunate. Something that will take time to address it. But police are doing their best. I went there with the commissioner. We even went to the red police station. But police are doing their work quietly. Now in municipalities, I mean there are leaders in municipalities, mayors and speakers and chief police. Now the issue of tenders have to be addressed firstly at the municipalities, not by us. There's one municipality in 1369C dissolved. When I was there, the briefing I got, certain leadership councillors employed criminals, people who have records. But when they arrive there, they don't meet their demand, but turn against them. Then the police must come there and secure the job 24/7. Again, we must go there, talk to the MEC for local government, to talk to councillors to do the right things. If we can correct councillors, this thing of tenders, you see, if you want support, you want to be a councillor, you want to be popular. I was a councillor for 15 years, but I never did that. You promise this also no, and giving a tender is a process of administration, supply chain. If you fail, they turn against you. They never say no. They are not going to say no. We were promised tenders, now we are not getting them. They will behave as if now the municipality is not giving them tenders as the poor of the poorest. Again, we must make an awareness all over the province to teach the people of this province. And maybe now, I don't know which school have you went, you media people. I follow you now. You are writing true stories now. That means it's part of our hours. Maybe you went to another workshop somewhere. Now we must do the same community members. You will complain about police for many years. Let's get to the root of the cause of this problem. Support the police. Police is not the enemy of the communities. Work with them. I was like you before I became the MEC for police. I was used to say police are not working. I'm with them now. I see what is happening practical. The problem for now is as community members, we are hiding information to police. You see, just in passing, in Kaisanumolopo, you saw cars were banned, houses were banned. You know? Certain people didn't want to open cases, the owner of the car, or the witness to somebody who opened a case for the house banned does not want to give that witness, and you say police are not working. Until we find a way with the minister, with these imbizos. Unfortunately, you call an imbizo, many people are not coming on Sunday. On Monday, they are complaining about police. But we'll follow this thing of educating, making an awareness to the people of Northwest until we get it right, and assist us as media people. When you write stories, also put some education to our people about the relationship between community members and subs. Thank you very much. Over to you, Commissioner.
Thank you, MEC. I'll just briefly add on what you've just said, more specifically about the gangs. I think the very same person who stormed the police station with his team has passed on. May his soul rest in peace. However, because there were cases opened against the person, he was still going to court. Before he passed on, he was attending court for those cases. There was one case of murder, the other one of intimidation, I remember, and as well as assault, inclusive of the case where he stormed the police station. So I must just indicate, if a case is opened, it's investigated. Now, I'll address this cumulatively with the case of invasion of councils, where it is alleged that members or from respective gang units want tenders. I've received numerous information of members invading municipal meetings, more especially in Matlosane, both Al-Qaeda as well as Boko Haram. But not even one person comes to the police station and open a case of extortion. I've got a list of cases here of extortion right around the province. Not even one case of Matlosane. We act only when there's a case opened. I must hasten to say that SAPS has got a team of anti-gang members that are investigating all gangs in and around the province. Focus was more on your SVK, small boys gangs, and so on and so forth. You will realize that insofar as Jobetina, insofar as Kanana is concerned, the gangs' activities have subsided. Currently, the main gangs that are operational is that Al-Qaeda as well as Boko Haram. But your SVK and so on and so forth, I think you'll know, Obakeng, you are from the area that it has subsided. It's as a result of a reaction from the police of this anti-gang unit that is going through and ensuring that they bring perpetrators to book. It's more focused on the gangs in and around the province. Critical, Kanana, Kuma, Jobeten, as well as Otosdal, is a bit also of a problem. I don't say in other areas they are not there, but the report is minimal for us to respond accordingly. Police ability, Refilwe, to prevent serious crime before it happened. Not long ago, I think there was this big issue where there were shootings, police officials, I think 2 were killed, gang members were killed. Now, that is indicative of a response from both the police as well as crime intelligence. By the way, crime intelligence is still the police. They fall under the same umbrella. Unless, of course, if it is SSA, but still, they are there to ensure that they give intelligence so that the police can react. Now, the Indian was to come and commit a cash in transit heist in Mafikeng. But because of the intelligence that we got, a shooting ensued. I think 5 gang members were killed and 2 police officials. I think this is an indication that there is a good relationship between the police who are doing the prevention part of things as well as the detectives and crime intelligence. So to answer you, Refilwe, yes, the relation is good, but still there is a need for improvement in certain areas. Thank you.
Thank you, NAC.
Maybe before you close, earlier on, the HOD was not here, so on my left-hand side is Mr. Murule, the acting HOD for the department. You'll do likewise and introduce. I like titles of subs. Introduce them per title. We have the director for the acting chief director for law enforcement, Mr. Stone. The director for communication there, Mr. Sumake. And then I'm happy because we have the office of the chief whip, Mr. Moses Quaid. He's from the office of the chief whip of the province. Thank you very much. Just introduce them.
Okay.
We never did at the beginning.
Yes. I'm Lieutenant General Kwena, the Provincial Commissioner in the Northwest Province. Next to me is the Deputy Provincial Commissioner Policing, Major General Asaneng. Then we've got the presenter who is responsible for crime register. The provincial head is Brigadier Ntsabele, who's been emceeing the program. It's Brigadier Mokhabone, the provincial head communication. And then behind me, we've got the district commissioner for this district. It's Major General Matlapi Molawa. Next to her, the Deputy Provincial Commissioner for Detectives, Major General Molefe. Then the Deputy Provincial Commissioner for Support, Major General Naidu. We also have the District Commissioner for Bujanala, which is Major General Musimane Khape. Thank you, MEC.
So you must know that. It's very important. So this one is the director for Chief of Staff, Advocate Mam, in the office of the MEC. So know that. Don't call us, call them. Thank you very much.
Thank you, MEC. Ladies and gentlemen, this brings us to the end of this media briefing. Thank you so much for your